What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And this is Dr. Hammerstang, and today finally we got here the iPhone 14 Pro Max, arguably the best flagship phone you can get in 2022. Of course, we're going to test this phone in the next few weeks and to see if that is true while I use it as my primary phone. And yes, this is the first ever Pro Max model that I've gotten on this channel. Normally I just kind of use it here and there, especially when it comes to photography, but last year I got the iPhone 13 Pro to compare, and this year I'm just going all big, not going home over here. I'm getting the 14 Pro Max. Of course, this is not the highest variant. This is not the 1TB. This is 128 gigs. And for 128 gigs here in Malaysia, it sells for about 5,799 ringgit Malaysia, which of course is just absolutely insane because that is a lot of money. So in today's video, what you're going to do is, of course, go through the key specs and features, do a little bit of some unboxing, and show you what to expect if you guys do decide to buy this phone at the end of this video. So yes, without further ado, let's just get right into it. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick unboxing over here because as you can see, this is a very small packaging, and right away we are greeted by the phone. This is the space black variant, and then get the purple, which I think is the famous color for the 14 Pro series. Last year was the Pacific Blue, and here we have the cable, which of course we do know is the USB-C to Lightning cable. Of course, here we have some manual books and stuff, which obviously we are not going to read, and of course you have your stickers here as well. So this is the phone. Let's just peel this off, and boom. As you can see, I already set up my phone because I did buy this off secondhand because it's super hard to pre-order this. And what I can say is that it is a massive phone. So let me just set up this phone and give me a few more minutes, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. So here we have it. This is the iPhone 14 Pro Max Space Black Edition, and I gotta say the color looks really awesome. In terms of fingerprint, as you can see, it does have a nice matte texture on the back over here, so you don't get all the fingerprints, so you can use it without a case, which of course looks really nice. But definitely I will slap on a case on this because this costs a lot, so definitely I want to protect my phone. And yes, I do know that the purple color variant is the so-called flagship color for the 14 Pro series, but in terms of just the long-term sustainability, the long-term look of it, I think the black edition looks really awesome. This is something like what Bruce Wayne would have in his pocket if he does use an iPhone. It looks really nice, and it goes well with anything. It just looks really slick. And yes, just like last year's iPhone 13 Pro, it does use the same ceramic shield, and it does have your stainless steel frame on the sides, and it does have your Gorilla Glass on the back here as well. A nice triple camera setup. Also same layout as last year's model. Overall, a very nice sturdy device. It is of course a little bit wide, so let's give you about 6.7 inch of display. And one thing you'll notice is the thick bezels on the sides, because if you guys use any Android phones, you'll notice that the bezels are always very minimal when it comes to their flagship phones. Over here, because it is still a flat display, you're gonna get a bit of bezels on the sides over here, but definitely on the top we do have the biggest change, which is no more the notch. They call it the island view or whatever they call it, which is looks really cool. I mean, yes, most Android phones, they will have a small cutout, but over here we do have a bigger cutout, like a pill shape, but they have fully utilized this in the iOS 16, which I'm just super excited to check out. So overall, in terms of just the build and material on this very sturdy device, you can actually feel it when you hold it in your hand. Okay, and of course, moving forward, let's talk about the display on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So it does come with a Super Retina XDR OLED display with the LTPO panel. So it's able to refresh from all the way to about, I think, 2 Hz all the way to 120 Hz. It does have your HDR10 support, Dolby Vision, and a brightness of about 1000 nits, but it can go up to a maximum of 2000 nits, which I think is actually the highest in the smartphone category, which of course is insane. And for the Pro Max edition, this one is 6.7 inch. If you get the Pro model, it does come at 6.1 inches. And in terms of resolution, it can go up to 1290p up to about HD plus, which of course is really, really good. And of course, it does have your always on display, which of course was missing in previous phones, and it's actually really, really cool that they have actually finally implemented on their Apple phones. And overall, in terms of display, I got to say, I mean, when you pay 5,800 for this, you expect the best display, and definitely you are getting over here. Definitely with the peel cutout on the side, you're getting a bit more screen, I would say. But yeah, definitely it's still quite a deal breaker, I think, for most people, because if you want to enjoy your content, definitely this thing here is blocking a little bit. But overall, in terms of just the color, the sharpness, the accuracy, I gotta say the display here looks really, really nice. Okay, and of course, next thing here we're going to talk about are the speakers, and let's see with the iPhone 14 Pro Max, how do they sound? Alright, so definitely when we talk about the speakers on this is a flagship phone. So in terms of speakers, really, really nice. In terms of music as well, I did listen to some stuff over here. It sounds really nice with the bass, with the clarity, with the voice, vocal. So definitely you're not going to complain too much. And of course, you're going to watch our content, you're going to enjoy it as well. Moving forward, let's talk about the battery and charging with the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So over here, we do have a 4,323 milliamps of battery. And if you guys do not know, in terms of the Apple size, this is actually quite massive for their phones, because normally they are quite small. And I do expect the battery on this to be very, very excellent. I heard a lot of good things about the last year's iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I'm just, of course, super excited to test out the battery on this, which of course is one of the main key features of last year's Pro Max model. And of course, in terms of charging, we have, of course, the basic stuff. You can connect your USB Lightning on this. They haven't had the USB-C over here, which I don't think we would see. But if you're like me, you like to use a lot of the MagSafe. This is one thing that I really do like. You can just connect it over here like my MagDodo power bank, and of course have done a separate video on this. You can check it out for this kind of stuff. But I always like to use MagSafe because, you know, it just minimizes all the cables, because I don't really bring around a lightning port cable, and I really do like my MagSafe stuff. So you can use all these things. Of course, if you guys have been using the iPhone 12 stuff with all the accessories, you can use it as well with the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Okay, so when it comes to the software side of things, the iPhone 14 Pro series does come with your iOS 16. And I think this one here does give you a lot of new stuff with the phones, which of course, you know, when it comes to Apple's, it's always a little bit of a tricky situation because most Android phones do have it. So in terms of widgets, you can customize all these things. And in terms of your lock screen as well, you can customize your lock screen, which is something you could not do before. And one of the major things that I really do like with this phone that finally they have implemented is the battery health percentage. So you can actually see your battery percentage over here. I know, yes, again, most Android phones have had this. Finally, it's over here on a 5,800 phone, and it's over here with the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So you can actually see your battery indicator. You don't have to go back to your menu, which is always very annoying. I always put it on the side here. And, you know, it's always very annoying to like just check out the battery, you know, over here. It's just a bit more convenient. And if you guys want to know a little bit more of the iOS 16 features, I will do a separate video on this as well with the 14 Pro Max to give you a more in-depth look on this, which I'm just super excited to check out and to use it. And of course, to power this up, we have the latest Bionic chip from Apple, which is the A16 Bionic chip to power this bad boy up. And of course, you know, in terms of chipsets, Apple have been doing an amazing job with their chipsets in terms of efficiency, heat management, multitasking, you know, you can't really do a lot, but switching in between two apps, opening up a lot of heavy stuff, you know, it's always been really good. So over here, again, in my full review, I will let you guys know how is this phone performing at the end of my full review. And of course, moving on to the last part over here, which are the cameras. So in terms of the selfie camera, we have the dynamic island over here. minimized in a little sense. And over here we do have about 12 megapixel f1.9 sensor, and it can record up to 4K at 60 FPS, and it does have your gyro EIS. And of course, if we switch it on to the back, which is the main key feature, finally they have upgraded their camera setup. With the main lens here, we do have a massive, in terms of Apple standards, a massive 48 megapixel f1.8 sensor with dual autofocus and a sensor shift OIS. We do have a 12 megapixel f2.8 telephoto lens, and it can go up to 3 times the optical zoom, and it does have your dual autofocus and OIS as well. And lastly, we do have the 12 megapixel f2.2 sensor with dual pixel autofocus, and it does have 120 degrees field of view. And we do have your TOF sensor over here, your 3D LiDAR scanner, which of course would help to get a more crispy portrait shots when you're taking, all those portrait images, or if you want to estimate some distances on that. We have it here with the iPhone 14 Pro models and the Pro Max that we have on my table. So yes, I'm going to show you some photos that I've taken with this phone, and of course, let me know what you guys think about the shots over here. So that is it with the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm just super excited to check out this phone. And of course, this is not me saying due to the hype, but because they've actually done some improvements with the phone. Finally, the display here has changed ever since the iPhone 10 series. The cameras as well has had a massive hardware upgrade in terms of just numbers, and I'm just super excited to check out this phone and use this phone for the next couple of weeks. Of course, if you guys have any questions or if you guys want to see anything about this phone, do leave it in the comment section down below. Of course, you guys can find me on my socials as well, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and also here on YouTube at Dr. Hammerstack. So that is it. This is Dr. Hammerstack. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.